for the first time ever in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd never been. It was great.
Work, vacation, what?
I surprised my husband with a trip for his birthday.
And went to Las Vegas.
And went to Las Vegas.
Babe, I'm surprised you with a trip. I'm going to Vegas. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was so great. I'd never been before. I was like crazy. I've been to fucking Croatia. I've been to Russia, but I'd never been to Las Vegas.
Right. You've been to Italy many times. So what'd you think about it, Las Vegas?
I thought it was really interesting. I mean, I'm a weirdo. So, I mean, the things that I kind of picked up on was like, my first question was like, how much power the Las Vegas machine must have? You can't smoke anywhere on earth. You could barely smoke outside. You can smoke in every one of those casinos.
Oh, right.
They're smoking indoors. And I'm like, isn't that a federal law? Like, who gave them just a pass on it? It was like, I was like, man, that's the question. Not to cause any problems, but I'm just like, okay, this is weird. I saw a prostitute.
Where?
In the casino.
How'd you know?
Wait, I almost blew up the spot. So I'm just sitting there waiting for my husband to check in.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there in the hotel waiting to check in, and there's this gorgeous, oh my God. I mean, like even from afar, you could tell her skin just must feel like butter. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen in my life in person. So I'm like, wow. And so she's just walking with her bag, and she's walking. And so then I guess, you can really people watch there. So I'm just looking around. And so I don't see her again. I assume she's checking in. Then I see her again with a drink in her hand. And she's still walking. But there's a guy next to her. And I'm like, oh, that must be her guy. And so they're talking. And she's like, And she's like, And so he's like, blah, 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 blah. And then he takes his hand. He has on these shorts. He puts his hand in his waistband, pulls open his pants, and says, see? And she looks down, and she's like, And initially when he does it, I'm like, hey, that's this guy. Oh, this is none of my business. I thought he was flashing her or like being disgusting. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, sis. You working. I'm sorry. Pardon me.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my God.
Man, so he was petitioning her.
Like, come on, let's go do this.
Yeah.
And she was like,
let me show you what I'm working with.
Yes! Oh my God! It was so embarrassing.
So did they leave together or no?
I don't know. I looked away. I looked away. I couldn't look anymore.
Oh man, Las Vegas Adventure.
Las Vegas Adventure,
where were you
man.
at?
We were at the Cosmopolitan. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called, the Cosmopolitan. But it was so much fun. We went and saw, what's his name? George Benson.
George Benson?
We went to, it was great.
You know what's funny is that so many times when you hear about certain artists like you haven't heard from in years and you don't know if they passed away, they're in Vegas. Yeah.
Well, actually, he's on tour, so he wasn't like, he's not doing a residency, as you would call it. But luckily, he happened to be there because, hubby loves guitar players. So, and we went to this, what is it, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Fascinating. I mean, just things that you just never do, right? So it's like a big adult amusement park, I guess. Yeah. That's what it's like. And we went to a comedy show. The only thing I didn't get to do was magic show. I wanted to go to a magic show.
You like magic?
I am obsessed with magic. I love it.
Well, stick around. Donald Trump making our rights disappear. I call Donald Trump like Donald Trump is basically a nightclub hypnotist. Because he just says things over and over and over and over and over till people just believe it.
It's so unfortunate. It's interesting. As I was coming to the studio,
in this traffic.
Oh my God, it was so ridiculous. As I was coming to the studio, I was listening to maybe it was MSNBC, maybe it was TikTok. Who knows? But the commentator was talking about the difference between evil and stupidity. And it's either a study or a philosophical thought about there are very few people that are actually evil, but there are a multitude of people that are, the term they used was stupid, I'd say unintelligent, but she said that, and in order for the evil ones to really gain power, they must
enlist the stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that is so true.
Well, Donald Trump seems like he's both evil and stupid.
That's really fascinating too.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because I mean, he's so unintelligent, and so the premise. But the premise that we go off of is that, if you are a wealthy person, a successful person in business, that there must be some type of, intelligence behind your actions.
Yeah.
But what we find is that there's a system in place that has kind of propped him up. Yes. That he's been an unsuccessful business person in a multitude of ways, but what he has been successful in doing is the perception of that success,
right?
I.e., licensing the name Trump.
Right.
So Trump ties, Trump steaks, Trump this, right. And so he gets his cult to purchase the cachet of Trump.
Right, and the cat that produced the
show.
Yeah, what's the show?
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice. What's his name? Burnett. Whoever that cat is, apologized. He said, I apologize for helping to make Donald Trump seem more successful than he actually was. See, that he was a part of that propaganda machine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Him and the cat Tony Schwartz, who co-wrote The Art of the Deal with Trump. Those two cats came out and spoke against Trump, and they regretted having done the things they did to help to elevate his national profile, like you said, to give people the illusion that he's a successful.
Because it's all an illusion, but the thing is, you can't unring a bell. No,
I mean, he's president. We're headed downhill now. The sled has been kicked downhill, man.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Yeah.
But I think the most fascinating thing is that...
Which, I don't mean to cut you off, Tammy, but here's the thing. I don't mind somebody being ignorant, because I'm ignorant. You know what I mean? I didn't have to tell you that. You know what I mean? But,
well aware.
Yeah. But don't be malicious. I mean, if you don't know things, don't be malicious and don't be arrogant. You know what I mean? I'm ignorant, but I'm humble. I'm ignorant, but I know I'm ignorant. I accept that, and I don't intend to deliberately do you harm. My ignorance might result in your harm in some kind of ways, unbeknownst to me. But I'm not like, I don't know, I don't want to know, I don't want you to tell me, and I'm also trying to do things that's going to make your life worse, knowingly. That's the thing about Trump. He's ignorant and he's malicious.
And also it seems as
sadist.
Though
he's sadistic. He takes joy in people's misery and people's pain.
I don't know if it's a joy more than just not. He's obtuse. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care one way or the other because it doesn't affect him, and so that's why him and what's his name, the Tesla boy,
Elon Musk.
That's why he and Elon get along so well, because they both lack empathy.
Right.
They lack consideration.
I don't give a fuck.
Like, oh my God, like
we can fuck over
like two, college girls, like, oh my God, we're both the same way. That's so cool. Yeah. And but see, they lack empathy, yet they want to curry empathy. They want you to feel for them. Like, this judge is against me. Or remember, I think they showed Elon on television damn near in tears talking about his stock. Right. And talking about, why would you talk about my cars? And like, are you crazy? Like, how is it that you don't get the flip?
And right. and that you could cause so many people so much misery deliberately. But then that's, they're narcissists. They're narcissists. So, yeah. And not to say we don't all have that to some degree, but at least I'm a self-aware narcissist. I'm a well-meaning narcissist. I'm a narcissist that doesn't mean you any harm.
Speaking of narcissism, welcome to the Napsolute Truth. My name is Tammy X, and this is the amazing Dwayne Kennedy. You just dropped in on what is normally going on with us, just a conversation. One of the things that I think is interesting, and I wanted to get your take on it, is how the television, or the idiot box as I call it, we got MSNBC, we got CNN, we got Fox.
You got Newsmax, you got OWN.
It's a new one. News. It's a new one.
News Nation.
Yeah, News Nation. Yeah. So, but what I have observed for a really long time now is the demise of democracy as we know it. And yet everybody's kind of acting like it's not happening, or acting like, democracy is in jeopardy. We don't have, it's not in jeopardy. It no longer exists. We don't have the rule of law. We don't have a certain set of facts that we all agree on. Like, okay, this is the fact. Right. And, you can argue about your opinion on that fact. We don't have, on a national level, I don't think we have trust in the elections. I feel like locally we have trust in our elections.
For now.
But maybe. Nationally.
Right. Because that was Trump's whole game. You can't trust the process. When they say, like Steve Bannon, one of his henchmen, the philosophy, flood the zone with shit. Just keep putting out propaganda and bullshit and lies and overwhelm people with so many lies that they can't process everything, so they give up. But to
what end? That's my
power. But here's it.
But power for what? Because if the stock market crashes, one of his henchmen said, "I lost $7 million." Well, I'm sorry, boo, but what did you think was going to happen?
I think they're so blinded by fear and greed. I think that they don't even. It's like it's not at this point. To me, it's a cult of nihilism. I don't care if it's all going to burn down. I don't want you to have anything. I want to take as much as I can. I don't want you to have anything. And I'll burn this whole thing down before I let you have anything. Because it's that pathological greed.
And racism.
Yeah, it's that pathology,
And it just seems so odd to me. Because when I think about what does America look like without our footprint, without our fingerprints all over it? Yesterday, I saw a Christian, was it Christian Dior? I saw a commercial. No, Cartier. Because, I'm that girl. This Cartier commercial came across my feed, and it was a punk rock. It was a punk rock sound behind it. The ad music was like some punk rock song. And I was like, when any other time it would have been, A Lovely Day, it would have been Bill Withers, it would have been the Commodores, it would have been something that we created that is the backdrop of any advertising, anything that they do. And it just made me laugh. And I was like, this is what it looks like, a day without black folks.
Yeah.
A day without black folks.
Well, I mean, that's what some folks, some on the right, whatever, and they purport to want, right? They want an ethno-state. But the thing is, you had an ethno-state. It was Europe, and you didn't like it, and you left, and went all over the world causing everybody misery. You got an ethno-state. Go back to Slovenia or something. Go back to Czechoslovakia or something.
Well, there is a lot of ideas around that. And now he said the Afrikaners, is that what you call them?
Yes. Yeah.
Bringing folks from South Africa.
Yeah, man.
But...
Yeah, busting in some new bigots.
I just think it's so fascinating. I mean, it's like, are we being punked? Like, do you feel like this is a reality show and like nobody's telling us? Like, there's some cameras.
That's what Trump thinks it is. It's a reality show. Yeah, a racist reality show.
It's just so bizarre. It's just every time I turn on the TV, it's just something more bizarre.
Yeah.
And you know what the most bizarre thing is?
What?
Well, of the myriad, the constituency watching the town halls. Watching the town halls of these Republican leaders as they're afraid to have town halls because their people have lost their jobs. Their, eggs is still $20. The price is about to go up and they are losing their minds like, why don't you do something? And I'm waiting for somebody to have the courage to say, what are you talking about? I was a regular Republican. I was conservative. I was fiscally responsible. I told all of you that this guy was crazy. I told you that he was a piece of shit. I told you this. But no, you threatened me. You said, we won't vote for you. He's what we want. He's what we want. So I completely morphed into a completely different person that I hate to keep this job because you told me to. Now you want to stand here and say, what am I doing? What am I doing? Make up your damn mind. Right. So do you want him or you don't want him?
Yeah, well now they all in a trick bag.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
I'm really waiting for somebody to say that, like, he wouldn't even be there if you guys had made me do this.
Well, I'm waiting for, I think unless there's a radical pivot turnaround, I think eventually things are going to slide into chaos. I mean, further chaos to the point where it's going to be like the French Revolution. I mean, people. I've said this a number of times where people are going to be in the streets, and at some point they're going to completely abdicate the democratic process. Like, you know what? This is not working. This system's not working. Fuck it. I'm going out and I'm going to your crib. I'm coming right to you. I'm loading up the truck. And it's just going to be anarchy. That's what I think is coming.
I mean, yeah, but again, to what end?
Well,
what is that going to do for you?
I don't know. But, when people just get pushed to the point where they feel like they don't have any choice, they're not being heard. What is that? What Martin Luther King said, riot is the language of the unheard. Or yeah. So when the greater majority of society starts to feel like that, whoever they are, black, white, just the underclass, the have-nots,
What did Bernie say? We the 99%.
Right.
Bernie had it the whole time, and they coveted their racism more than they coveted their power.
Their racism and their sexism.
It's really fascinating, and we are living in a very a historical time that they're going to write about for years.
My girl, this is I don't know what you believe in. I don't believe in anything, but I don't know. But these seem to be like biblically or in the the Hopi prophecy, whatever books of prophecy, these seem to be the end times. Yesterday they had a dust storm in Chicago. Dust storm. What the grapes of wrath is going on?
It was like Dune, man. I was like, what is happening? It's like the sky was just yellow.
Yeah,
it was wild.
I was driving down West on Madison down to the to the Comedy Plex, and then it just got dark, man, and there's a dust storm. Just what I mean. Thought I saw was it the witch on a bicycle riding?
But that's never happened before.
No.
I mean, there's a lot of things that have never happened before, and will continue. And I mean, what did we have? Locusts? We
had locusts. We had locusts, right? And it was that convergence where it was like the two different types of locusts, man, because they had one that was on like a 7-year cycle and one was on a 13-year cycle. Somehow it lined up, so it was like trillions of locusts. Oh boy! And a week ago they had wildfires. You heard about this?
No.
They had wildfires, not on the West Coast, in Minnesota. Yeah, it's over, my girl. It's over. I don't know what you're gonna do, but After I leave here, I'm robbing a liquor store.
I've been thinking about what to do. I've really been thinking about what to do, or even more so, what to do with my children. Like, all of my kids are grown, but what do they want to do? How do I protect them and still, get had? Yeah, you can reach me at this P.O. box, but I'm out of here. This can just be Thunderdome for all I care.
What do you say to them now?
We're just having conversations about where they see themselves, what they want to be, where they want to be. My two youngest are still in college, masters and undergrad, and I'm like, what do you think about going overseas to get your doctorate? What do you think about going overseas to finish college?
Yeah, do you ask them what they think the future of this country is, or where they see it,
I find that they're very jaded and very optimistic all at the same time. And so that's really interesting. But they're also they're filled with the passion of advocacy. So much like those kids that brought down the Columbus statue here in Chicago, that, I don't know if I'd call it Black Lives Matter, because we've learned a lot about, really what is Black Lives Matter, or who created it and what their intentions are. So I don't know if I would necessarily jump on that bandwagon, but just the fact that,
Well, you know what, when you say that, like, what do you mean you wouldn't jump on that bandwagon?
Because I mean, is it a phrase? Is it an institution? There was some back and forth about the people that founded it.
Yeah.
And that one of the black women that founded it was starting to feel disenfranchised. Yeah. And I was like, much like Me Too. Here's a black woman that started Me Too, and it's like she never even existed. So I'm like, I kind of I steer away from that kind of thing, and just kind of rest on what is right, what is wrong, rather than getting resting under a label, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I believe in what's right. I believe in what's wrong. I believe in what I believe in. And, I also believe that you can believe whatever you want to believe. I could care less. It doesn't matter to me. But what you're not going to do is control what I believe. Yeah.
Well, I think that, people are people. You could have a noble cause or a noble organization, and just people fail. There might be some corruption and some grifting and some grafting, but I agree with the sentiment of it. That Black Lives Matter.
But it was never a thing. It's really never been considered. And it seems like something so simple, but the fact that no one has ever considered that we didn't matter.
Right.
They took for granted that we mattered, even though every evidence in front of them showed that we didn't.
Right. Yeah. And then I think it starts to even be, because it's, in some ways, that was just a galvanizing phrase to black people. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we do. Because you always assume you don't.
We know it. It's not even an assumption.
Yeah.
I'm never surprised when I see unfortunate things happen to black people. I'm absolutely never surprised.
Not really.
One of the sad things about social media is that it's becoming traumatic, because social media has brought black communities together all over the world. So in a second, I can see what's happening to my sister in Minnesota. I can see what's happening to my brother in New Mexico. I can see, you know what I'm saying? I can see it. That's what social media has given us the tool to really show what is happening.
Man, you know what? That's a good point.
And it's so traumatic.
And what does that?
And
what
stressful.
Does that do? That's what I say. What does that do to your nervous system and your psyche, man? Like you said, that you can just be now just inundated with, if you chose to, trauma 24 hours a day.
It's a digital hanging. It's a digital lynching at all times.
Yeah.
Because when it's all said and done, we don't control we don't control what's on this thing. It's still folks that don't look like us that control what's shot out to us, right? So here is this mechanism that shoots out black trauma, just like the television. This is a disturbing scene. They show it over and over and over and over and over again. What's his name? Chauvin on George Floyd's neck. Yeah. Over and over and over again. That's why they hung him. That's why they hung you in the square. So you could walk by that black trauma and you could know this could happen to you. To keep you in line.
Yeah,
but this may be the new Jim Crow, but this is some different Negroes.
I was just gonna say, cause I don't know, I've been seeing it online. There's some black folks out there now who are not playing.
And the news is not reporting it. Apparently, two KKK members
Yeah.
Walked around somewhere in Atlanta in full regalia and like it was okay and got killed. And like, but what did you think was going to happen?
Well, because historically nothing did happen for the most part. No, you know what? That's not even true.
That's because you walked in Peoria. You didn't walk on the south side.
Well, they were caught up.
You didn't walk on O Block. What did y'all talk me about O Block?
Yeah.
You ain't walk on O Block.
Right. But they were caught up in the delusion. You know what it is? Being caught up in that propaganda bubble. All you watch is Fox News. All you listen is your other bigots.
They're afraid of us.
Yeah, this is. Oh yeah, you right. You right. We gonna go down. You right. We gonna go down there and scare some niggers. We gonna. Now they wherever they at now. I thought you said they gonna be scared of us. I thought they was. I know they gonna show up and trust the gun. Me either. Where we at now? I don't know, but it's hot. Yeah, man. Yeah, just delusional.
Completely.
And again, seeing, like I said, what I'm seeing online, maybe you're seeing it. They've got the folks now, I would say younger, but I think it's just there's a group of black folks now who are not playing, who are fed up and not backing down. And it's like Raekwon once said in Wu-Tang Clan. One of his lyrics was that you got guns, we got guns too.
I think it started with the Birmingham boat.
Yeah.
It started with the Birmingham boat.
Yeah. Right.
Wait, everybody throwing their hat up in the air now.
Yeah. So they're getting chaired. Yeah, man. They're not having it.
I think, oftentimes we think about, where are we now? This is a watershed moment. Mm-hmm. So where are we now? Trump's first 150 days. The listeners, where do you find yourself? What's your watershed moment? What's your hat in the air moment, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we'd like to know. I think. What do you think, Ro?
Well, I
throw your hat in the air.
And wave, but don't you just like you just don't care?
Throw your hat in the air. Then hit a nigga up the side head with a chair.
Oh my gosh.
Not enough. Throw your hat in the air and then hit a whitey in the head with a chair like you just don't care.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. He was the only one they had left.
Yeah, man. Nah, black folks are not having it, man. They're done. Yeah, and it's like, you know what? What else can you do to me? I might as well start swinging. And the irony and the paradox is what a lot of white folks, the evil ones, the malicious ones, they counted on the fact that I'm going to be inhumane to you, but I'm assuming that your humanity is going to allow me to run over you. You're not going to retaliate, because basically it's almost inferring that I'm exploiting your humanity.
No, I'm exploiting your fear.
Well,
because you don't think that we have humanity. You're not empathetic because if you think we're like you, which is why you don't want to give us power, because you think we'll do to you what you've done to us. But we've never cared about what you do. We've never cared about you living around us. We've never cared about you walking around at 3:00 in the morning. I'll get knocked in the head before these white folks get knocked in the head in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they'll ask you, hey, I've done it before. I'm driving down the street. I'm like, hey, baby, are you lost? Where are you trying to go?
To a white person?
Yes. I'm like, what are you doing here? Yes. I'm like, are you okay? Did somebody like dump you here as a joke?
You'd have been the one like in the 1600s on the shore when Columbus. Are you lost?
No. See, I'm gonna call you out your name. My point being, they don't believe in our kind nature. Of course, we have kind nature.
No, I think they do. But okay, go ahead.
No, they don't. They don't think that they don't think that we're kind nature. They think that we're afraid of them.
Well, I think they mistake kindness for fear. I think they count on the fact that black people are not going to be inhumane to them as they are to us. I think that's what they assume. I think that's the assumption. You don't think so?
But they've really turned a corner. I mean, all I can think about is myself. I mean, I'm a pretty affable character. I have a hello for anybody.
Right.
But I feel like I'm such a different person now. Maybe not cynical, but I'm just a different person. And I don't feel like I'm better for it. I feel sad. I feel sad for how this past election has affected me. Mainly because, you had no idea so many people
that's the government calling you down. You want to talk about something else.
You had no idea so many people were, everybody's like, well, I'm not racist. I voted for cheap eggs. I'm not racist. I voted for this. And I'm like, no, you can say you're not racist, but what you are is okay with racism.
Right.
So the fact that that's a conduit of this person's behavior is just fine with you.
Yeah.
And okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing this.
Yeah.
What I hope is that we galvanize around this and that we become closer as a community.
Yeah, something destroy this system. This system is unsustainable.
Yeah.
Beyond, just capitalism, the way it operates is just unsustainable. I think.
It's a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And it's always at somebody's expense.
Yes.
Always.
In order for me to elevate, you must fail.
Yeah. In order for me to acquire, I must take from you. You must be depleted. Yeah. I don't know.
And then how much is too much? Why do you need a quadrillion dollars? Like what for what? And you're not doing anything. You're not helping anybody. You're not building schools. You're not fixing the education system. You're not helping with poverty. I mean, you can solve poverty and not even miss a meal. The point of having money is why.
I know.
For what?
All that money. And then, again, we've talked about this before, but it's like, right, and on top of which, somebody like Elon Musk, I can't get over that. It's just, you're literally the richest person on earth, and you made it your job to take money out of people's pockets.
The least of these.
Yeah, the least of. So you gotta.
That's a soulless person.
Yeah, you got a moral deficit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he said the biggest problem with Americans is their empathy. He said that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, super villain.
Hey everybody, this is Dwayne Kennedy, and listen to and watch the Napsolute Truth podcast. It comes on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, and a number of other platforms, wherever you get your podcast at. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow us. But don't follow me in real life. Just on the platforms, because I don't need that. I'm trying to live my life. But on the platforms, yes. In real life, no.